Welcome back to NBL Overtime. We are not far away from Game 3, the decider. Win or go home, and such is the big occasion. For the first time on Overtime this season, we welcome in the CEO, the chief. I don't know what we call it. You're so high above the boss at this point. We're not sure how to actually label it. Larry Kestelman, welcome in for the State of the Union address.
Thank you very much. Owner, chairman is good.
There we go. The
Dave Stevenson is the CEO.
That is true.
You have to make sure you give him the title because he's the one that does all the work. So, to be clear, he's the boss.
Larry, it's great to have you here. And again, coming up on 10 years since you got involved and really saved the NBL, you walk in now to a finals game. Do you remember the feeling walking back into the first one? Do you still get that same buzz of electricity?
Look, I've been around for a long time around the NBL, so I've seen the highs, I've seen the lows. So I think to be where we are is just incredible. When we took over, no, things were not great. We'll admit that, but very proud of where the NBL is headed, what we're doing. A lot of exciting things happening. Sold-out crowds, broken records. That's what we're after. So loving where things are at, but not taking too much of a breath. I think it's all about continuing the work and keep growing it.
Everybody in Australia, Larry, is appreciative of everything you've done, how you reached into your pockets. We appreciate all of that stuff. Can you tell us, though, you seem like the kind of guy that's always got something cooking. Can you give us a little hint on what's up your sleeve?
Yes, no, definitely a bit of a chef. Listen, we love it. We're cooking up a lot of interesting things. And when you think about it, it's all about growth. It's all about growing fans. It's all about growing the NBL. So whether it's more teams, I think our league does need more teams. I think you've seen the success with the Jack Jumpers. So I think continuing that growth with the clubs, I think is really important. I think more content. So I think generally speaking, more games. You look at the NBA, they play 90 plus games. I think our regular season is 28. So I think that's something, sort of stay tuned. We want to see how we go on a bit of a journey. And then we want to take our game to the world and bring the world here. So there's murmurs, there's conversations. Stay tuned for some announcements.
Just on that topic, when you say, you know, take the game to the world, bring the world to the game, the NBA games are always an interesting one for me. We sort of see less teams going over. It probably doesn't have the same sort of power that it did when we first announced it to be a big thing. What's the next iteration for that? There's an NBA game coming out here. Is the NBL going to be involved in that? Where does the NBL NBA pathway lead next?
Well, it also shows where we're at now. When I first came up with the idea of going to the NBA, everyone thought we're crazy. This is such a massive thing. Now it's cool, but probably not quite as cool as it used to be. It feels like the world's gotten closer. So our aspiration is definitely to bring NBA here to Australia. That's still a work in progress. We're getting closer and closer. I know there's been lots of rumors. You know, that's something that I've dreamt up for the last sort of 15 years to make that happen. And that's not easy. When you've got places around the world throwing tens and tens of millions of dollars to bring games to their shores, that's not an easy thing to do, but we're getting closer and closer.
Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with the NBA Commissioner, Adam Silver, where that all began and how you got to this point where these thoughts are even possible?
Yeah, well, I think where it began is he wouldn't even have had a clue 10 years ago who we are and who I am and what we do. So it's been a slow burn. I worked a lot first with their Asian office. It's a guy by the name of Scott Levy. Then I got to know Mark Tatum, who is his right-hand person. And then slowly, Adam Silver. And like a lot of people and a lot of sports people around the world, I think he and I connected during COVID, post-COVID. Maybe it's mutual trauma, I'm not sure. But they love and respect what we're doing here in Australia. They look at the world as their playground. I mean, NBA, by far the best product around the world. So they've now got Africa. They're working, I know, in Europe and looking what the opportunities are there. And they see us as by far the best product of their version of basketball here in Asia and in Australia, of course, but even sort of the greater Asia. So it's a very close working relationship.
Larry, we see the recent sale of the Tasmania Jack Jumpers. Me and my mates, we all tried to put a syndicate together and try to get in on that one, but we fell a little short. The value of every team in the league, how do you see that going? Is every team's like stock might not be as high as maybe others, but how do you see the value of each team?
I'm so proud of where the values of the teams are. I think that just shows, again, the credibility from not just in Australia, but around the world. We have owners from all around the world now that either have bought or looking at buying or wanting to be involved. If you're a sports lover and the business of sport, the eyes of the world are on us. And it's part of the reason is that we're running a good commercial model. I think more and more clubs are becoming self-sustainable, profitable, growing. I mean, not to drop names, but I literally just got off a Zoom talking to Marc Gasol, the ex-NBA.
I'd love to hear your name drops.
Yeah. Can we bring the contact list out?
So I was chatting to him about what's happening in Europe, and he was sharing the fact that hardly any clubs are profitable, and it's still a bit of a hobby sport for wealthy people, and I don't like that. For me, it's about building a business, sustainability. The best love you can show to something you actually do love is do the work and turn it into a sustainable business. And that was my motto from day one. Build something sustainable that'll outlive myself and people can love and enjoy and not let it go backwards.
As I said off the top, we're coming up on nearly 10 years since you took over the league and got it to where it is today. You took the risk. You got down there to Tasmania, gave Tasmania, they got the success, they won a championship. Is there one moment or something in particular that you're most proud of having achieved so far?
Through the league or the jack jumpers in particular?
Probably through the league. I mean, the jack jumpers, that success will stand out. It's one of the greatest sporting achievements, not just in Australia, but in the world. 3 years old and win a championship, because you've seen so much. You talk sellouts everywhere, the atmosphere, but is there something that really stands out along this journey?
I think for me, when we did the deal with ESPN and Fox and got it onto the platform next to NBA, and I remember seeing the ratings when we started 10 years ago, they were pretty low. And that year we started outrating the NBA. So you go, okay, look, I know there's different time zones, different times, but when our fans are really as interested, if not more interested, in NBL versus NBA, you go, I think we're on the right track. So I think there's lots of moments. I remember Andrew Bogut coming back to the league. That was massive. Like, those sort of statements. Now it's more and more. You've got the delis, you've got that whole movement between NBA and NBL, so the credibility is there. But a few of those were really pivotal moments. I think Andrew coming back to the league, champion Australian, and then playing here, MVP, I think that was a big moment as well.
I don't want to go too far. The way the world's going 10 years' time, well, we don't even know if everyone will be here, the way everything's going over there. 5 years' time, let's keep it sort of short term. What's the best outlook of the NBL for you?
The best outlook is that we're playing more and more games. I think continuing to grow the audience and the fans. We measure fans. So I would love to, you look 10, let's call it not 5, probably let's call it 10 or 15. We're building a whole new generation of fans. That's what's really happening. You look around the venues, it's a lot of young kids, young adults. It's a young family sport. So it's a generational thing. So I would love for NBL to be the AFL of the summer.
Yeah.
So that's sort of an idea of the parents giving the kids the jersey. You're now, a Phoenix supporter. You're now a Melbourne United supporter. Yeah. That sort of pride and building fandom that is so real, and the passion, and it's there. We just need to keep on growing the numbers and the people. But that's our aspiration.
And you mentioned a little bit in the chat earlier, talk about the more games. We had the NBL Cup at one stage, which was a lot of games. Is that probably something we see in the nearer future, then further down the track? Because 28 we sit here, and as you said, compared to the NBA, and a lot of NBL fans, we're itching for more games. We want to see more. Is there a magic number? Can you go too far in that?
I think it's not necessarily the magic number. Again, fast forward, I don't know how many years, but over the next few years, 5 years, I'd love to see games being played every night. To the point that it's 7 days a week, that that there's consistency, whatever, 7:30, 8 o'clock, that there's a game on Monday through to Sunday, and we're playing every day during our season. That's what I'd love to see.
Better be careful here, man. We haven't had a day off in 4 days just thinking about that, because I know how we work here. We'll keep going through. Larry, one thing I've been wanting to ask as well, it's more on a personal level. You're a businessman across so many different realms, yet basketball, which is probably in a grand scheme of things, is one of the smaller investments of your life, but it seems to take a vast majority of your attention. How come that's so?
Passion, love. I mean, what bigger privilege can one have than doing something that you love and turning it into a business? So for me, I never dreamt of the business success I've had anyway. So I was never driven by just that. I'm lucky I've got an amazing group of people around me that pick up the slack that I'm leaving behind. and allowing me the privilege to actually work on building this as a business. As I said, I want to take it seriously, and that's why I'm doing the work. For me, business is equal to work. And then if you can combine your passion and see what's happening, well, it's joy. So that's what I do. I'm super privileged. I love what I do, and that's why I'm working so hard at it.
Does it get old? Does it get old at all as you walk into this game and then the championship series? I'm sure you're going to be around where there's sellouts, and we were at Illawarra. We're going to go back to Illawarra tomorrow night. Those fans are on top of you. We've seen it at My State Bank. We're there in Perth. It was an unbelievable. Do you still get those same kind of feelings walking into venues?
Absolutely. With the fans, all I need to do is if ever I sort of get a little bit down or it's been a big day, I just need to look at the fans. And for me, when I come here and sit here, there's a family that comes with a girl who's so excited every game. I just need to look back and I feel great. So for me, it's about my family, number one, having the love for the game. You know, tonight I'm going to be here with my wife and son. My mum, unfortunately, send her a cheerio. She's in hospital. She's not well, but she'll be fine. Otherwise, if she's not in hospital, she's here at 89. So it's about the people, right? I love the game, but it's actually about the fans and the people.
Well, just a warning, Larry, I've got 10 of my mates coming that'll be sitting right there, and I believe they're at the Richmond Social right now. So
I
if you want the wholesome look,
I love it.
don't go looking back
great.
there up in the road.
No,
It's going to
I
be
love
fantastic.
It. Bring the noise.
We are all the beneficiary of your passion. Thank you very much for joining us here, and we look forward to a massive Game 3. We're cutting to a break. Plenty more coming up next. Game 3, win or go home.